Hey yo, it's your girl J9E, and we are going to listen and tolerate. I'm going to tolerate Daryl cross-examining this here medical examiner lady. Okay, and I haven't seen this. So many pieces. It's amazing how much is in there. It's like 15, 16 days of 8 to 10 hours of footage. So each, you know what I mean? So it's a lot. But this is the medical examiner. And because Daryl was Daryl, because of Daryl, you already know it's going to be, you know what it's going to be. So we're going to see what Daryl has to say. If he can, save himself. Save yourself. Maybe this will be the one that gets you out of this mess, Daryl. Spoiler alert. Nah, bro. Nah. But let's see. We got to check and see, because he might have a point or something one day. Oh, aside from them 2 points on his head. Okay.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Any questions for this witness?
Of course.
I do.
Yeah. Come on.
Your primary field is in the medical field. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fair to say, Daryl. It's in her title.
Any reason why you would be inspecting a car if that's not a medical professional thing?
The examination of anything that's related to injuries in the people that I later examine is relevant in my specialty of forensic pathology.
That part. Now what, Daryl? What do you say to that, Daryl? How will a Daryl respond? I'm sure with something intelligent.
So examining the vehicle, examining the vehicle
Yes.
would be important to your medical assessments in what way?
Because the injuries that people
Daryl.
sustained, whether it's
Daryl. Daryl. Really? Really, Daryl? What does the car have to do with it? Well, because the car is why the person is deceased. The car is the weapon. That's why. But why do you need to know about my car though? Why you so nosy, lady? Leave my car alone. Give me my baby back. I want my baby back, baby back. No, Daryl. You'll never get your home back. Your house is gone forever. Got a new
a
house
vehicle in this case or anything else, it's important to correspond the nature of the implement being the car.
Okay.
So it's possible I
don't
would
know
be
what an
shown a
implement
car
is.
that would be not consistent with the injuries.
So it would be fair to say you've done numerous autopsies in your time as a medical professional. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
That's true.
That's fair to say.
And
Yes, Daryl.
as you just
My
said,
job.
examining the vehicle would be essential to your medical expertise. Is that,
Oh
is
my
that fair to
God.
say?
Finally got it out, Daryl. Congratulations.
Examining the vehicle is important to interpret the injuries. I'm not sure I don't know if that's the answer to your question.
Yeah, there is no answer, lady. Sorry. This is a Daryl you're talking to.
So if you were doing
like,
an injury assessment based on if the
Really?
injury was caused by a different kind of
weapon?
instrument, would the same
Weapon.
apply
Is the word,
to
Daryl?
having to view that?
Yes, if in cases of gunshot wounds, I ask to see the gun. In cases of stabbings or blunt trauma, I ask to see the weapons that they think were used, so I can determine if they are consistent or not consistent. I can't make matches, like precise matches, but I can say it looks like a baseball bat or it looks like a pair of scissors, that kind of thing.
It would be fair to say if in a case of a gunshot wound, as you brought up, it wouldn't be. It would. Let me back up. It would.
What, Daryl? What? What
Would
you
you
about
say it
to
would
say?
be hard to assess the gun, being that it wouldn't be the actual gun, but the bullets that caused the injury?
Well, actually, I don't examine the bullets, but I would examine the gun, especially, for example, if it's a contact wound. So if the muzzle of the gun touches the skin, then the muzzle could leave a mark. So then I could say the muzzle of the gun shown to me might match the mark.
And that, if it was something similar to that, the muzzle type thing, that would be, the mark would be from the heat. Would that be fair to say?
No.
No, not actually. It's actually from the contact of the.
Daryl, what are you trying to learn here? What is happening here? Daryl's like, I'm smart too. That would be from the heat, right? No? Shit. You don't even know how to crime correctly, Daryl. You can't even crime right, okay? You don't know. Daryl don't know jack about jack.
The metal, so it's more of an abrasion than a burn.
So you're wrong, Daryl, is what she's saying. Boo, tomato is what she's saying, Daryl.
So in a case like in a case like that, what would be the significance of the actual inspection of the gun?
Oh my God. Daryl, she just fucking said that. Like, it has a shape on it, and it's like if I pressed a quarter up against my forehead and it left a mark. One might want to see a nickel, a dime, and a quarter to see which one it is. And then they'd be like, oh, it's the quarter. She had a quarter on her head. See, it matches. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, Daryl. You know why he's doing this? Because he's mad that he was wrong. He's mad that he was wrong and he refuses to accept it because Daryl, right? And so he's just gonna like try to force the answer to come back to sound something like almost like he might have perhaps been kind of close to being correct, but he wasn't. That's the problem. You was just wrong, Daryl. Just accept it. You stupid. It's okay. You dumb. It's all right. It's all right. Shh, shh, calm down. Shh. It's okay. You just a little stupid. That's all. Okay.
I think it's a little bit of field of where we're at.
Grounds.
Overruled. She may answer. She brought it up as an example. I'll allow a little bit of leeway, but
Yeah, because she know it's pointless.
Go ahead.
She's like, go ahead, Daryl. Knock yourself out.
Could you repeat your question?
What
Yeah,
would
your
be the
stupid ass
significance
question.
in a case like that? As you stated, you view all types of instruments, gunshot wounds, and things of that nature. What would be the significance of inspecting the actual gun in terms of the injury?
Well, I may be able to say that the mark on the skin, for example, is consistent with the outline of the muzzle of that particular weapon, looking at the dimensions and shape.
So what if it was used from a distance? Then what would be the essential reason to inspect the gun?
Depending on the distance, sometimes the pattern of stippling, like for example, if there's a flash suppression or something used, that can play a role. If it's very far away, then the actual characteristics of the weapon are more general. In other words, the size of the hole, for example, or might reflect both the size of the caliber of the gun or the velocity. So it depends on, distance does play a role on what I would be evaluating.
Oh, Daryl's still wrong. Oh, that's right. Scratch your head, Daryl. Scratch some more of that hairline away.
Do you know if at the time you did the autopsies, if any of the victims you performed the autopsy on had any underlining illnesses at that time? Yeah.
Oh my God. But that guy that I ran over, he had cancer. What if we can't prove that those tire tracks on him is why he's dead. I mean, he had cancer. The cancer might have killed him right before the tire got to him. You can't prove that, okay? So was everybody in the parade sick? Were they all mortally already sick? Were they just none of them was going to make it past the day anyway, even if you hadn't showed up? Is that what you're saying, Daryl? Is that what you're hoping for? Was anybody sick? Or do you mean like, oh, well, maybe if they weren't sick, because they were already sick, all of them, the whole crew, it was a sick parade is what it was. It was the ill people parade. It was the ill people parade. Okay. Oh my God, Daryl. I can't believe you just said that. What is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you, Daryl? Oh my God. I can't with you. I just can't with you, Daryl. I can't. I just can't.
Any cancers or anything like that may have been going on at the time that you did the autopsy?
Yes, I would make observations of any natural disease processes that I saw at the time of autopsy.
Did you observe any?
Yes.
Do you recall from who that was?
Well, Mr. Hospital, he was an older gentleman. He had some heart disease, as I recall, a pacemaker, some coronary artery disease. Ms. Kulik, as I recall, had a large fibroid. That's what I remember.
Yeah, this is what happens when you run over a bunch of old people, Daryl. They're going to have issues, okay? Oh my gosh. I can't wait till you start to get all the rest of your issues, okay? Whew. Oh my God. Oh my God, Daryl. You got this woman up here explaining to you the sicknesses and illnesses that the people you ran over perhaps had when you ran them over. That's how this. I don't want to know why a Daryl thinks the way a Daryl thinks. Like I don't want to know that. But it is a curious thing. Like how?
I could look and clarify
God.
my memory further, but those are examples.
Can you explain to the jury what is a large thyroid? Is that the word you
God.
thyroid?
Fibroid.
I'm sorry.
Yes. It's
Fibroid.
a benign uterine tumor.
Yelling.
Is that a form of cancer?
No.
Look at Daryl. He like, dang it.
And you said the older gentleman had some fluid buildup in the chest. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to misquote you.
What were you trying to put him out?
Some type of fluid around the chest area.
I see where Daryl's going with this. Unfortunately, what Daryl is going with this is, well, these people were already suffering. These people were suffering. They were suffering. And, I'm a giving soul. I care. I care about the people. And so what I was doing was, I was trying to, put them out of the misery. I was trying to keep them from the suffering. Explain all the children you ran over, Daryl. Explain that part. While you hold your hands so close to your little chest. Really, if you think about it, I think I did that one a favor, didn't I? Wouldn't you say, would it be fair to say that? No, Daryl. It would not be fair to say that. Okay? And that was a stupid ass thought you had. And I can't believe you got this look on your face like you're really curious about the answer. It should be obvious. You should have a little more obvious look on your face. Okay? A little more obvious. Like a duh look.
Correct.
And from your recollection, that wasn't caused by the vehicle?
That was. He entered the hospital actually with no evidence of that.
Ha ha. And then it all backfired. Oh, Daryl, you were so close to nothing. Daryl thought he had it, y'all. He was like, oh, slam dunk, Kobe. But no. Oh, looks like you caused that too, Daryl. Oh, damn. You in here snitching on yourself some more? Sit down. What are you doing? Oh, that was hilarious. I'm like, no, actually, yes, it was. You did that.
fluid, but it's lymphatic fluid from the thoracic duct, from a thoracic duct injury. So over the time he was treated, especially with the fluid resuscitation, because of the blood loss, the fluid collected in the hospital as a rupture of that thoracic duct injury and was in the pleural space surrounding the lungs.
Yes, so it was your fault.
So that it would be fair to say that that
was your
came
fault.
about
Yes.
once
Because
he was
of you.
already at the hospital.
That's true.
Because of you. Don't you love how you trying to skip over the part?
And
Well,
you said he had a pacemaker. Would that have any
What you gonna say?
effect whatsoever on what might have been going on in his chest at the time?
No, and because he was in the hospital, the function of that pacemaker was well documented while he was being monitored.
Was it pretty active, still working properly at that time?
It was.
it was. So now what, Daryl? Now
Even
what?
with the loss of blood, as you say, he had a loss of blood. Even then, was it still working pretty good?
Yeah,
Yes,
it was still
the
trying
loss
to
of
save
blood
him.
had no effect on the electrical function of the pacemaker.
That's right. You did not run over the pacemaker, Daryl. You missed.
And were you at the parade at the time of the incident?
No, I was called after.
Were you
So
gonna
at
ask
the
if
time
got
you were
her
called, did you know any information about the incident?
Yes, because I was called in my function as a medical examiner, I was informed about the death of numerous people, injuries of more, and that this was a result of a car going through the parade.
Do you recall if it was referred to as a car or a SUV?
I'm sure I was told it was an SUV because the vehicle in question was in custody at the time.
And you were already privy to that information before you arrived at the scene?
Either before or at the scene.
Do you recall whom informed you of that?
It could either have been my staff, who were the first people notified, so they would have reported to me what they were told, or it could have been detectives at the scene who I also interacted with.
So it'd be fair to
And
say
it
you don't
matters
really
because-
recall.
Not specifically.
Ask yourself this. Why does it matter? Why does it matter, Daryl? Why does it matter? Why does it matter? Why? What is? Why? Why? Why do you want to know this? Who told you that my car was indeed a sub? That's a SUV. Okay, we didn't catch that. Who told you I was driving a sub? Who told you that? Because it matters to my case and could set me free, possibly. In Darrellville.
And you said you
I
observed
heard
damage
she was
to
like,
the
"Oh my
vehicle
God."
when you were able to view it.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it damage.
Would you say it was extensive damage, or did you really look at one specific area? Or let me rephrase that. Were you
Oh, you want to know how your car doing? Terrible.
were you really focused on one certain area of the vehicle when you viewed it?
Well, when I was examining the car, actually the crime lab was there. So we looked at the entire circumference of the vehicle, and the vehicle was also on a lift, and we looked under the vehicle because we were questioning whether there was clothing perhaps or other physical evidence that would be important to document. So I would say that I looked at the car quite comprehensively, although
Sorry, I had a
it was not my
flashback.
job to document damage to the vehicle per se, other than what related to my autopsy interest.
And that would be specifically looking at the hood of the vehicle to determine how it fit with
Oh my God.
your medical expertise.
Well, I paid attention to the front end of the vehicle, which is the part that typically is involved in pedestrian strikes, and those are the parts that I paid more attention to in terms of measurement than, say, I don't know, but it would be wherever the damage is, because now I'm thinking in some pedestrian strikes there are cracks to the windshield, or injuries to the side mirrors, or and so forth. So I paid attention wherever I thought the damage would be that would be relevant to my cases. But I did take measurements of the front end.
With your expertise,
Daryl don't know
would
what
you
to
determine
ask.
that
It's like, oh God, I don't know anything about
all of the
this
damage
stuff.
that you observed would be caused strictly from hitting one thing or numerous?
I can say that there were multiple areas of the car that had damage, so it would seem unlikely to be from one impact, because in my experience, it's, you could have a frontal impact, you can have a side impact, you can be rear-ended, but there were dents, if you will, in multiple areas of the car.
Dents.
So from your expertise, that could have came from a number of different things.
That's true.
So, okay. So then Daryl didn't do it. Oh, okay. Oh my God. Can't believe we wasted all this time sitting here with Daryl when he is clearly an innocent man. Get those things up off his ankles. You got to let him go, okay? He got to go. He got a freedom sandwich waiting for him on the outside, okay? His mama's holding it up, okay? Waiting for him to run by with it and grab it, because he's going to have to eat it outside because he can't come in her house, remember? And now his car is gone and ruined. So now he has no home. Why would you even want to be free, Daryl? You ain't got no job to get to. You ain't got no house. You crashed that. Okay. So, I mean, what's even out there for you? What's out there in the world for you? Nothing is the answer. Nothing. So just sit tight, create a new, functional relationship in the prison. And we'll see what happens. Okay. Okay.
You made a brief observation about speed and velocity. Do you have any expertise in that area?
Only to the extent that I understand how injuries occur, and in terms of the transfer of kinetic energy, because all injuries I see in the body have to do with that kind of transfer.
There was like, why
Would
she
it be
using
fair
them
to
big
say
ass
that
words?
everybody is different though?
Everybody is different.
So with May, I guess I would phrase the question by saying,
What? Saying what?
something that may seriously injure someone else probably wouldn't seriously injure another person, based on your expertise.
Generally, things
I'm gonna tell you this: a car moving 40 miles per hour is gonna hurt everybody in the same way, just maybe in different parts of their body, depending on what it hits. But ain't nobody coming out of that just feeling all carefree, okay? Sorry, I'm having flashbacks. Okay.
things of a serious nature don't become not serious. I would say that different people might have
Different injuries?
there are differences in people and how injuries how different events might injure them. But I wouldn't say that something that's serious in one individual would be minimal in another,
Yeah, exactly.
even though there might be a range.
They all gonna be fucked up is what she's saying, Daryl, and you done it. It was you who done it. You who dealt it.
It's not going to be okay for one person, but maybe deadly for another. That is not typically how it is.
Exactly.
But it
That's
can
not
vary.
how science-
It can vary.
Look at him. He looking for any little bit of he like, but it can be a Tuesday, right?
Do you recall how many people you were called to attend to the night of the incident?
How many people I was called to attend to?
Yes.
There were 3 victims on the road. Those are the ones that I saw that night.
Did you see anyone else besides those 3?
I later saw Ms. Kulik, who came from the hospital. Those were the people I examined that evening.
So it was just the 3.
The 4,
Oh, I'm sorry, 4.
yes,
And no one besides those 4.
correct.
They was like, what happened to the other 2 that I got? I thought I took out 6. Was you only doing with 4, lady? Where's my other 2? Daryl's over there trying to do the math on his little hands.
Do you recall being notified possibly to testify in this matter?
Yes.
Do you know about when?
I knew always that this case would end up in trial. I mean, but I don't remember when I actually had a date and time for appearance.
And how would you know exactly that the case would end up in trial? And I say that because many factors could play out along, many different things happen over time.
You're right. That was probably a misstatement on my part. I thought it might go to trial, given the nature of the case, but I did not know for sure.
That makes sense, definitely.
Oh my God. Oh, does it make sense? Oh my God. Daryl.
So you had an idea that you might be testifying.
That's true.
And when did you know for sure?
Daryl, what she's saying is what I knew was if it went to trial, that I was definitely going to be in it because of the job that I did. Okay. Why do you have to be so dumb? Like, oh my God, Daryl, what is wrong with you? There was never a place more suitable for you than the prison. Like, never. 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 Okay. This is crazy. You know what it takes to do what he's doing right now? It's evil. That's what it
That
takes.
you would be testifying.
But you really only know for sure when you're called to court. You get a subpoena and things can still change. So I guess that's the best answer I can give you.
I'll behave. 'Cause I ain't gonna do it. I'm not even gonna do it. Somebody was in my comments talking about me saying y'all behave because I ain't gonna do it. People are so funny. That's real funny. When you can't find nothing else to say, you say that. Don't try me, sir. Watch me say it again. Y'all behave, okay? Because I'm not going to do it. If I do, people like this get away with stuff like this. And then it just ain't going to happen, okay? That's what mommy's here for. Mama is here for that, okay? And just in case you didn't know, mama's here for the smoke, too. So please step up. Feel free, okay? Mama love you. Yes, she do, okay? Don't let nobody tell you no different than that because they lying. They lying. Okay? Put it in your pocket. Keep it. Catch it. Put it in your pocket. Okay? Oh, peace.